Hello everyone, David here. I'm making some changes to my railroad, and what I want to do is put in this Tyco dump station here. I had to move the farm to the other side, so I started out messing around with different pieces of track trying to get that to work, and I decided I'm just going to use a piece of flex track here and put that in however I need and line that up. So I'm working on fighting with this flex track here. I guess what I'm going to do is just get it where I need it and then cut off the excess with the Dremel. I'm laying this down. I found using latex caulking to hold this to the foam board works out pretty good. It dries pretty quick. I originally was using Elmer's glue, or the white glue, and that stuff took forever to dry and actually didn't necessarily hold it down so well. So yeah, I'm just using it's clear latex caulking. So that's what I'm working on. I'll let you know how it works out. Okay, so I got back to this log dump project here, and of course I just realized that with the lights on it's perfectly in the shadows of the incline, but hopefully you can see that good enough. I used the flex track here, as you can see, and that worked out. It was a little bit difficult to work with, and I'll tell you why. So when you have your flex track, what happens is when you bend it, of course, you can see one side gets longer than the other, so then you have to cut it off and match it up. And normally that's not a big deal, but sometimes you cut one side, you get that lined up where you want, and then you move it, and instead of the other end moving, the wrong end moves, and then you're all out of alignment here. So what you do is you kind of get one end of it lined up, and you actually have to nail it down or something like that, or hold it really tight and then bend it this way so that the other end of the track actually flexes and not this end, so then you don't have to cut these off again. This is what I use to cut the flex track, a Dremel with a cut-off wheel, and then I hit it real quick on the wire wheel. So I got the track done, and then what happens is this here is actually a little bit higher than the surface of the track because it's got to have the base and everything. So I had an option of either trying to outline that and dig out some of the styrofoam, or else actually just putting the track on it and then shim underneath. So what I did is I just got some pieces of cardboard here from like the back of a tablet or something, and I cut them roughly where I needed. I put the track down and saw how far it would go till it would touch, and then cut a piece about that long, and I cut a shorter piece on top of it, so it kind of went up like steps, and it just took two pieces there, so it kind of goes up gently, and the cardboard has some give to it, so that worked out okay. So yeah, just cut the pieces of cardboard, fit it under there, then I drew like where the track was supposed to go, and just stuck it under there. And as I was saying before, I put this track down where you need it, and then I use latex caulking to hold it down. I just use ordinary, this is household caulking, kitchen and bath adhesive sealant, and I squirt a little bit on a piece of cardboard, maybe like that or something. Squirt a little bit on a piece of cardboard, maybe the size of a quarter, and then you can use something like this. I use popsicle sticks and just cut off the end of it to make it flat like that, and gives you a nice like spatula to work with, and that's how I kind of smear it on. And you need just like a tiny dot on each piece, maybe every 6 inches, and that holds the track down okay. So after a little bit of work, I got the track down, got this lined up where I wanted. I had to make the track longer because when you put a car on here, then the rest of the train has to have some room. So you want to see this thing in action, don't you? Alright. Now I didn't wire up this switch yet. I have to get to that, and I have to get another power supply for the switches and all this, and I'll explain that in a minute. So I have to manually hit the switch, and today I'm going to use the Silver Streak. So I installed a button for this on the control panel. However, I didn't have it wired yet because the power supply that's in here that I use for other electronics and relays, I don't want that to interfere with the electronics for that log dump. In other words, I don't want one thing to affect the other. So I'm running out of space. I need to figure out a way to get another power supply to activate the dump car as well as the switches. So for now, I just have the wires here from the power supply, and when I touch that, that one doesn't have as much action in it, but it dumped. Let's see how the other one works out here. Okay, let's try the other one. That one works a little bit better. Of course, you want to see that again, don't you? There you go. If you have one of these, a couple things you need to do. In here, there's 2 copper wires that actually make it dump, and you need to make sure that they're clean. And there's actually this plate here clips in, and then there's 2 other wires on the inside that you have to make sure are clean, so that these contacts contact the other things that are in there and connects to the wire. And then on the cars themselves here, you need to make sure that these contacts are clean. And actually, this piece will come off of here. There you go. Just gently slide that up. Slide that up and take it off. And then you can see you have 2 contacts in here that you have to make sure are clean to get a good electrical connection. And this here goes on the back, and that usually stays pretty clean. So just make sure that that's good, and then simply slide that back on where it goes, like that. So actually, if you have a car that looks like this, it works the same way. This guy's got some broken wheels and things, so it kind of works. I gotta do a little bit of work on that one. Yeah, when I got this, so this is the switch that comes with it, how it's supposed to work. And what's funny is when I bought this, I kept messing with this and it wouldn't work, and I couldn't figure it out. This wire was so brittle that it was broken in several pieces, and as you see here, I barely have a foot left of it, and that's about all the good wire that's left of it. But since I'm not actually using it, I'm going to use the button on the control panel. So I'm not really using this switch, but that should come with it. And it's nothing special. It's just a momentary push button switch. So I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned something. If you have any questions about how these log dump things work, send me a message. I'll help you out. So these work by these 2 contacts contacting right here, here and here. And what happens is, when this goes up here, sometimes, because there has to be a little bit of pressure on that, that will derail your car. So if that happens, don't get frustrated. Just make sure it's lined up as good as possible, and you actually have to do that kind of slowly. So that's where a derailment problem will happen. These are also supposed to have a little door on here, and actually I got 3 of these, and only one of them has this, and actually this one's broken, and these tabs are really pretty small there. I mean, I could 3D print one of these, but to 3D print something that's small is probably not going to work. So I don't know if I can repair that or not. So that's supposed to go on there like that, but that really, that doesn't stay on there. So the cool thing, this here actually uses the same unloading track here. I found a wheel for this and got that to work. Again, there's supposed to be something here and here that holds the logs on there, but this one works nice. Cool. Okay, I feel kind of silly here. I was using a 12 volt DC power supply here, 12 volt 1 amp, and that wasn't working so good to dump the cars. Then it occurred to me that's not what you're supposed to use. Most of your power supplies have your DC for your train, and you have your AC for accessories. It says accessories. That's what it's for. And that works a whole lot better. Okay, thank you for watching.